Guys, we're really excited that you're here, and I'm really excited about Fancy Circle Stage. So, whether you're here in person or online, we're excited that you joined us for worship. We're excited because we exist to point students to Jesus, and it's hard to do that if there's not students here. So, thanks for being here.
Speaking of whether you're in person or online, if you're brand new to Beach Church or United, you can fill out the Connect cards with the link tiny.cc /unitedwelcome. Or if you're online, you can go to the chat bar. It's right there. Just click the link, fill it out, and if you show the church that you have proof of doing it, you can go to the Connect kiosk back there, and they'll give you a free T-shirt just for being here.
Yeah, and if you're online, I'll mail you your T-shirt, so no worries, you're not missing out. Guys, we have a very exciting announcement. Before I get to that, I want you to turn to someone next to you, and you're going to ask that person either the first YouTube video they remember watching or their favorite YouTube video. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves. Favorite YouTube video or the first YouTube video you remember watching. All right, while you guys are still talking, I think the first YouTube video I remember watching was this one where a car is just driving along the side of a hill, and it's 30 seconds long, and right at the end, this really creepy face just pops up out of nowhere, and I did not care for that one single bit, and that was my first experience with YouTube.
My first experience with YouTube was probably those try not to laugh videos when we were little, in 2008. I never won, always laughed.
Yeah, you're really easy to make laugh, so that's not that hard, but you're welcome. The reason we're talking about YouTube is part of our exciting announcement. Previously, we've posted videos on YouTube of our sermons and bumper videos, but it's always ever been on a playlist at Beach Church. But this week, Kendall did a lot of work, and so did our honorary intern, Chris, to get our own YouTube channel established. So, we have our own YouTube channel now, and it's really exciting. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. Yeah, keep clapping. Go for it. Here's what we're going to do. In honor of our new YouTube channel, you have a chance to win, two people have the chance to win free Love Is t-shirts.
What do you have to do to
All right?
Jacob?
So, if you want to win, all you have to do is on your phone, pull it out, and go to YouTube. And what you're going to do is you're going to search for Beach Students, but you have to do a channel search. So you're going to search Beach Students and then filter it by channel. Then, once you get to the channel, you're going to subscribe, you're going to ring the bell, and you're going to find our featured video, Welcome to United. On that featured video, if you leave a comment about your favorite thing about Beach Students, whether it's life groups, United, Epworth, mission trips, anything that you've enjoyed about Beach Students, you will have a chance to be one of two winners for Love Is merch. So, at the end of service, we're going to pick those two people, we'll announce them. You guys will win free Love Is merch.
Speaking about the Love Is merch, we just got a brand new shipment a few weeks ago. It's all out there in the lobby for after church whenever you want to buy some. It's really cool, really dope. You should definitely get some. T-shirts are $20, hats are $10, and masks are $5. You should definitely go get some. Nice.
Guys, we are about to head into worship, and worship is one of my favorite things that we get to do here at United. It's not just singing. We get to come together and be in God's presence. We get to worship Him for who He is and all that He's done for us. And so as we worship, don't let it just be a song for you tonight. Actually come into God's presence with us and worship God for who He is.
Awesome. Why don't we stand up together and let's worship Jesus together. God, we thank you that you are here tonight, Lord. God, we thank you that if we seek you, we will find you. So we seek you with everything tonight, Lord. Come on, let's sing this all together. There's nothing worth more shame is undone. It's your presence, Lord. Come on, sing this with everything that's in you. And Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Come on, begin to open your heart. Begin to open your eyes to what the Spirit is doing tonight. Come on, let's worship Him. There's nothing worth more that could ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're our living hope. Yes, God, we believe it. In your presence, Lord. And I've tasted and seen of the sweetest of loves, where my heart becomes free and my shame is undone. It's your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, and Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. It's your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. It's your presence, Lord. Overwhelm us, Come on, Holy Spirit, overwhelm us with your presence, God. We want to feel your love. We want to feel your joy tonight, Jesus. Come on, let's sing this with everything. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of. Come on, cry out. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. And Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. And your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood overflow with your presence. Come on, let's sing. Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. It's your glory
you, and we would fall to our faces and worship you, God, the creator of everything, every cell, every breath. Every breath is you. Every breath is you. Every breath we breathe in and every breath we breathe out, you're in it, God. You're closer than our breath. You are breath, God. We honor you, God. We need you every minute, every second, God. God, break our hearts for you. Because when our hearts are broken, we're closer to you. And we'll do anything to be closer to you, God. We can't deny your presence. It's a feeling like no other. And if we can't recognize it, then it's not you. Your presence is undeniable, God. Thank you. Lord, speak to us tonight and search our hearts. Anything that is not of you, God, we give it to you. And if we're not willing, God, we pray for the willingness to be willing. God, give us faith to do whatever it takes to be closer to you, even if it hurts, even if it feels like hell. God, we know the end. We know we're going to be with you. And all day sing hallelujah to you, God. For eternity. Thank you, Jesus. Let's turn our attention to our bumper video tonight on how Jacob spent his 24 hours.
Love trusts. So I'm going to trust you guys with my day. I'm going to make some polls on Instagram. You guys are going to go and vote, and I'm really hoping that you guys can give me the best day ever. Let's see how it turns out. Okay, here we go. So it is currently the day before, but the first poll was, do I wake up at sunrise or do I sleep in? So what we're going to do is we're going to check the poll. That's what I was afraid of. Since I'm waking up early, before I get to bed I need to check to see what outfit I'm wearing. I will be wearing a business casual outfit, so I'm going to get to bed and get up in time for the sunrise. Dress shoes and sand don't go well together. Now I'm checking Instagram, and it looks like when I go to Sego today, I will be getting a surprise drink. Fun fact about me is I don't like coffee that much, so this is gonna be interesting. Okay, so I'm at Sego, and Tatiana happens to be on register, which is really convenient and also inconvenient, and I'm nervous, so be nice to me. Time to try my drink, which I found out is just a blend of every syrup and flavoring. I'm not gonna lie, it kinda tastes like Christmas in a cup, so this is actually pretty good. We're now on to the embarrassing part of my day. What do I have to do to embarrass myself? And it looks like the poll is clear. I will be using a cheesy pickup line on a girl in Sego. This is the one that I wanted to do the very least. I'm about to absolutely make a fool of myself. I need a bow tie. And I'm about to say this to a girl. Oh my gosh.
Just trust Instagram. She could be your wife.
Excuse me, are you a parking ticket? Because you have fine written all over you.
I literally thought you were gonna tell me that my car is. Oh no!
She thought she was getting a parking ticket, so that was poor delivery on my part. But yeah, now we're friends on Instagram, and hopefully she doesn't think I'm a weirdo or a creep.
Do you see a future with Chelsea?
It's time to prank Ryan. Let's go. I've replaced anytime it's Karen, Sinclair, or Aspen's face with my own face. If I get fired on camera, we probably won't post this video.
I'm firing Jacob. Effective immediately.
We are gonna look at what I'm doing for dinner. And it looks like fancy dinner 1. So I just finished dinner. I will be scarred for life because of some of the things I have to do today. But ultimately, my day was great. And I was really nervous about trusting you guys with 24 hours of my life. But it turned out fine.
What is up, everybody? My name is Ryan. I'm the student pastor here at Beach. Merry Christmas. This is how Merry Christmas works. I say Merry Christmas and you say it back to me. Merry Christmas. There we go. We only get this for like 2 months a year. Well, 2 months for my family, maybe 1 month for yours. But we got to take advantage of it, and it's really the only good thing that's going to come out of this year is Christmas. And so we got to take advantage of Christmas. I'm thankful that I didn't have to go up. I mean, first of all, I'm married, but also I'm the boss, so I can make Jacob go up and ask girls out in Sago. That just watching that video made me like sweaty and like nervous. I don't know about you guys, but that's like my biggest fear. I never did it in my life. Somehow I got married, but I never asked out a girl just randomly or did a pickup line. So whatever. Anyway, we're in the Love Is series. We've been in this series for quite a while, the entire semester. We're coming down to the nitty gritty. We're coming down to the last 3 weeks of this series, and hopefully it's been helpful to you. But the reason that we took an entire semester, the reason that we spent so long, the longest series I've ever done personally, is because of how important love is. Jesus said that the entire Bible, 66 books written over thousands of years, an Old Testament, a New Testament, the prophets, Adam and Eve, to Noah, to Abraham, to the kingdom of Israel, to Jesus and the disciples, everything that was taught, everything that was prophesied, all the stories, all the healings, all the crazy crap that happened, all of it can be summed up in one command. One command. Like, I don't think we really grasp that. Everything in this book can be summed up in one command. Love others as Jesus has loved us. And so that's why we've spent an entire semester talking about what love is, because love is what God says love is, not what we think it is, not what social media says it is, not what the news or what your friend or what your boyfriend or your girlfriend says love is. Love is what God says it is, because God is love. God created love. And so we are in one of the last few weeks of Love Is, and we are looking at the description in 1 Corinthians 13 of what God's version of love is. And so these next 2 weeks are going to kind of go hand in hand. They're both about building other people up and about how we can really, how we have the power, even if you're a middle schooler, even if you're a high school and you feel like I don't have that many friends, I don't have that much power, I don't have that much influence, you have the power. I promise you, you have the power to change other people's futures. If you're online, you have the power to change other people's futures. And these next 2 weeks will tell you how to do it. But before we get to what we're talking about tonight, let's read what love is according to Jesus, written by Paul in 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 7. Everybody say, love is. One more time, everybody say, love is. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Tonight we are looking at the idea that love always trusts. Love always trusts. But something that we've been doing throughout this series is we've been looking at what the original language says to try to get a little bit of a deeper understanding of what Paul is trying to say. So I've said this a bunch of times, but just so that we're all on the same page, if you wrote a letter today in America in 2020, you would write it in English. If you wrote a book in America today in 2020, you would write it in English. That's right. And so at this time, The main language of the culture and the day was Greek. And so they wrote everything in Greek. And it was translated into lots of different languages, including English. And it was translated correctly. This word that we're going to look at tonight does mean to trust. However, there's a little bit more depth when we look at the original language. And so that's what I want to do tonight. This word for trust is a Greek word, pistuo. Pistuo. Everybody say that together. Pistuo. All right, it's like the beginning of pistol and then uo. All right, let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. Pistuo. Come on, get with me here. Get with me. 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right, you're with me. Pistuo. Here's what pistuo means. To place confidence in. To place your confidence in. And we've talked about this word before because this is actually the Greek word that is often used for trusting in Jesus. It is a word to place your confidence in Jesus. And so this is how I've explained it before. This is a chair, right? This is a chair. I can believe it's a chair. I can believe it's standing there. I can believe that it's supposed to hold my weight. But I do not trust in it until I actually sit in it. I don't place my confidence in it until I actually sit in it. And so I could say all day, well, this is a chair. This is supposed to hold me up. But until I actually sit down, I have not put my trust in it. To pistuo this chair is to sit on it, to put my full weight on it and trust that it will hold me up, that it will do what it's supposed to do. This is that word, pistuo. Love always trusts. Here's how we're going to say it tonight to help us really understand it a little bit better and to be able to do it. Because the whole point of the series is to do love, not to just think about love and learn about love and be smart about love. It's to actually put it into action. So here's how we're going to say it tonight. Instead of love always trusts, we're going to say love is confident in others. Love is confident in others. Love is confident in others. It's really saying, what Paul is really saying is like love believes in others. It believes in other people. It trusts. It's confident that other people can do something that matters, that other people have gifts, that other people have abilities, that other people can do things and are able to do things. And here's why confidence is so important. Here's why confidence is so important. Your confidence in other people, your confidence in other people brings out the best in them. Your confidence in other people brings out the best in them. And I know sometimes we might think certain people are just really confident, right? Like, oh, well, she has really good self-confidence. I just don't have good self-confidence. Many times, not always, but many times, the confidence that someone has in themselves came because other people had confidence in them. So generally, I'm not saying always, but generally, someone who has parents that are very confident in them, that show their confidence in them, grows up to be a confident person. Someone that has aunts and uncles and mentors, life group leaders, friends, teachers, coaches that have confidence in them and tell them about it. Generally, those people have self-confidence. It doesn't necessarily always come from what you do or how good you are at something. It's from what other people say to you. And so your confidence in other people can bring out the best in them, can make them self-confident, can make them believe in themselves, literally can change their future. And again, I know that's sometimes something that we reserve for grown-ups and people in power and people in influence, but you as a middle school guy or girl, you as a high school guy or girl, you as someone who says, I don't have that many friends, I don't have that much influence, I promise you right now, you have the ability to change other people's futures by putting your confidence in them and showing that confidence in them. Your confidence in others brings out the best in them. Earlier in quarantine, like when we actually stayed in our homes and like we just stayed home all day and had nothing to do, there were no live sports, we had nothing to watch on TV. There was this documentary that was supposed to come out. And it was supposed to come out really this fall, but they realized something. Everybody was at home. They had nothing to do. People were incredibly bored. There was no sports on TV. And so they had an opportunity to have the most amazing ratings ever, to have everybody's eyes glued on the TV when their show was on. And this documentary was about Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. It was called The Last Dance. Anybody watch The Last Dance? All right. A few of you. So The Last Dance, it was on ESPN. Now it's on Netflix. So if you go home, you can watch it tonight. It was 10 episodes, 10 one-hour episodes about the 97-98 Chicago Bulls, an NBA team, if you don't know what the Chicago Bulls are. And Michael Jordan he's depending on who you are, the greatest basketball player of all time. But even if he's not the greatest basketball player of all time, he is the most famous athlete in the history of the world. Like, there has never been an icon like Michael Jordan. Like, he has $1 billion brand that, like, millions and millions of people wear his shoes, and millions of people wait in line to buy his shoes. He set like what he wore in the 90s, like everybody wore. Whatever he dressed like, whatever he did, like everybody else did that. He had the gold hoop earring, he had the shaved head, and everybody else just wanted to be like Mike. There was a song in the 90s that it said, I want to be like Mike, and kids would just go around singing in elementary school, I want to be like Mike. Everybody wanted to be like Michael Jordan. So that's why they made this documentary, because he was an icon. He was bigger than life. Like, people went crazy when he was around. And this documentary was about the last season he played with the Chicago Bulls in 97 and 98. But it kind of went back and told about his career, told about the team as he from the time he got drafted, or even before he got drafted, through that last season. And here's something we don't necessarily know about Michael Jordan, especially if you're young and you were born after he retired. We know him as this amazing icon, the greatest basketball player of all time, all that kind of stuff. But the first 6 years that he was in the NBA, he didn't win anything. The first 3 years, he had a losing record. The next 3 years, he made the playoffs and lost every single year to the exact same team, the Detroit Pistons. And he had not won anything. People were questioning him. They were saying, well, I mean, he scores a lot of points. He scores 33 points a game, but like, he doesn't win anything. And people were questioning him. And so it wasn't always great for Michael Jordan, but he learned something as he began to win. He learned that he had to trust in other players. Even if they weren't as good as him, even if they were far less able to play basketball than he was, he had to trust in them. He had to depend on them, because he could not win alone. So fast forward to the 96-97 NBA Finals. They're playing the Utah Jazz. They're in game 6 out of 7. They're up 3-2. So if they win this game, they win the championship. If they lose, they have to go back to Utah and play on the road in game 7, which they don't want to do. They would probably lose that game. And so they were in kind of a must-win situation. And there's 28 seconds left in the game. 28 seconds left in the game. They are tied 86-86. And they go over, they call a timeout, they go over to the bench. And this is actually, it's crazy. They followed the team around all season. So we have documented footage. You can hear him saying this, of this one sideline encounter. And he's sitting there with a guy named Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr was a short white guy. He was never very good at basketball. I mean, he was great by world standards, because he was in the NBA and he won championships. But like, he only averaged 6 or 7 points a game. He was a shooter. He was small. He was not super athletic. He was nothing like Michael Jordan. But he was on the Chicago Bulls, and he was a part of the team. And they go over to the bench. And something very, very important happened that may not have happened earlier in Michael Jordan's career. You see Michael Jordan sitting. They're wiping their face off. The coaches are talking to him. And Steve Kerr is right next to him. And he turns to Steve and he says 3 very simple words. He says, Steve, be ready. That's all he says. Steve, be ready. Now, what had happened earlier in the series, I'm going to get really into basketball because I'm into basketball. He had gotten in the post, and he had gotten double teamed by a point guard named John Stockton. And John Stockton stole the ball from Michael Jordan, went down, they scored, and Utah won the game. And so he thought, that's probably going to happen again. They're going to double team me, and Steve Kerr is going to be open. And so that's why he turns to Steve, and he gives him confidence. He trusts in him. And it's funny, if you go you could go look it up. I think it was like episode 9 of the documentary. He says, Steve, be ready, kind of under his breath. He's just wiping his face. And Steve turns to him, and his eyes are all big, and he's all excited because Michael Jordan just told me, he's confident in me, he trusts in me, he said he might pass it to me. And he gets all pumped up, and he's like, yeah, man, yeah, I'm going to be ready. He's getting all pumped up and all that kind of stuff, because his confidence, Michael Jordan's confidence in Steve Kerr, brought out the best in him. So the play happens. Goes down to Jordan in the post. John Stockton doubles down. He passes it out to Steve Kerr at the top of the free throw line. Steve Kerr's wide open, and he hits the game-winning, the series-winning, the championship-winning shot at the shot clock buzzer with 4 seconds left, and they go on to win the game. And it's just a perfect picture of what happens when other people are confident in us. This guy that was not the most important player on the team had the confidence of the greatest player of all time, and that confidence brought out the best in him. That confidence won a championship for the Chicago Bulls. Your confidence in other people will bring out the best in them. It was the same with Jesus. Jesus understood this a heck of a lot better than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was actually a jerk to most of his teammates for most of his career. It took him a long time to learn it. But Jesus knew about it from the beginning, because Jesus is God. And so we're going to look at Luke chapter 8. Luke chapter 8, verses 26 through 39, about Jesus and an unlikely person to be confident in. Verse 26 says this: they sailed to the region of the Gerasenes. So this is Jesus and the disciples. They're in their sailboat. They're going across the Sea of Galilee. When Jesus stepped ashore, think about this. As soon as he steps on shore, his disciples are still unpacking and everything. As soon as he steps on shore, he was met by a demon-possessed man from the town. Demon-possessed man. Now we get a description. For a long time. So this guy wasn't like a recent convert to demonic activity. Like, he had been possessed for a long time. For a long time, this man had not worn clothes or lived in a house, but had lived in the tombs, had lived in a graveyard. I want you to think about this. For a long time, this man had not worn clothes. He had been homeless. He had not been around people. He had lived in a place where death was living. Why did he do this? Because he was possessed, because he was lonely, because nobody went near him. He was the town lunatic. Nobody would go near this man. And he runs up to Jesus. And when he saw him, he cried out and he fell at his feet. So imagine this, like, Jesus steps out of the boat. Before he can even look around, this guy is at his feet. And it says that he was screaming at the top of his lungs. What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you, don't torture me. Don't torture me. And you may say, well, what do you mean Jesus is going to torture somebody? Remember, these are the demons. And they know that Jesus is God, so they are scared of Jesus. This is not the man talking. These are the demons talking. For Jesus had commanded the impure spirits to come out of the man. Many times it had seized him, and though he was chained hand and foot and kept under guard, he had broken his chains and had been driven by the demon into solitary places. Here's what he's saying. People were scared of him. He was violent. And so they would chain him up so he could not hurt anyone, so he could not hurt himself. And yet he would break out of chains. He would break out of being guarded by people and run away into the desert, run away into solitary places, run away into lonely places. He was uncontrollable. The demons in him were so strong. So Jesus asks him, but keep in mind, Jesus is talking to the demons, not the man. He asked him, what is your name? Legion, he replied, because many demons had gone into him. Now, legion was a Roman military term, and it actually meant over 6,000 soldiers. So that's crazy. I don't know if there were 6,000 demons in this man, but he had a lot of demons in him. And they begged Jesus repeatedly not to order them to go into the abyss. They were scared of Jesus. And a large herd of pigs was feeding there on the hillside. The demons begged Jesus to let them go into the pigs, and he gave them permission. When the demons came out of the man, they went into the pigs, and the herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and was drowned. Now, this is kind of a side item to the sermon, but let me tell you this. This is what happens when sin controls your life. This is what happens when Satan controls your life. This is what happens when you do what all your friends do. This is what happens when you do what the world tells you to do. This is what happens when we don't have to follow after God. Not that we get punished and that he kills us. No, that's not what happened here. They lead to destruction. Like right when the demons go into these pigs, the pigs are led into destruction. This is what sin does to you. I know I say this all the time, but I just have to say it all the time. I know that we think sin is so fun. I know that we think sin will make our lives better. I know that if we think that if we are like other people, we do what they do, we smoke and drink what they drink, and we act like they act, and we talk like they talk, and we do what the world tells us to do, that we think it will make us happy. It will not. It might make you happy for a few minutes, but it will lead to destruction. This is what happens when sin takes over. It leads straight to destruction. The pigs have the demons in them, and straight into death they go. 34, when those tending the pigs saw what had happened, they ran off and they reported this to the town and the countryside. And so the people were like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So they all run out to see what had happened. And when they came to Jesus, this is crazy. When they came to Jesus, they found the man, the demon-possessed man, from whom the demons had gone out, sitting at Jesus' feet, dressed and in his right mind. I want you to think about this. They had seen this man naked, dirty, crazy-eyed, screaming, violent, chained up for years and years and years. And then they come out and just listen to these peaceful terms. He's sitting at Jesus' feet. He's calm. He's dressed. And he's in his right mind. It's like this total change. And the people were afraid. Why were they afraid? Here's why they were afraid. Because for their entire lives, or for years and years, they had been afraid of this man. But something had come, or someone had come that was stronger than this man. So they were freaked out. And those who had seen it told the people how the demon-possessed man had been cured. By the way, that word for cured means to be rescued, to be saved. This is what Jesus does. The demons lead to destruction, to death. Sin leads to destruction and death. Jesus leads to rescue. Jesus leads to being cured. Jesus leads to being saved. I know somebody in here might be dealing with kind of that fight in between the world and Jesus. And they're like, man, I just want to be like other people. I'm tired of following Jesus. I'm tired of doing, let me just reach out to you, whoever that is right now, and tell you, it's not worth it. 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 It leads to sin, or it leads to destruction and death and hurt and pain. Jesus cures. Jesus rescues. Jesus saves. I promise, I promise, I promise. It's a perfect picture of it right here. Verse 37, then all the people of the region asked Jesus to leave them. Why? Because they were afraid. They were overcome with fear. So Jesus, he does what they say. By the way, you'll never see a time where Jesus forces himself onto someone, where he forces someone to believe, where he forces someone to follow. He does not do that. They tell him to leave, he gets in the boat and he leaves. But something very important happens right after this. These last two verses are the whole key of what we're talking about. There goes my phone. That's okay. Verse 38, the man from whom the demons had gone out begged to go with Jesus, which seems good, right? Like, he's going to follow Jesus. He wants to be a disciple, all that kind of stuff. He begged to go with him. But Jesus sent him away. And for my whole life, I used to read this and be like, man, Jesus is kind of a jerk, isn't he? Like, he saves this guy. And this guy's so pumped. And he's like, yeah, I want to be a Christian. I got my cross necklace on. I memorized all the worship songs. I'm ready to follow you. I want to take up my cross. I want to be like you, Jesus. This is the point, isn't it? Aren't we supposed to do this? But Jesus says, no. He sends him away. But there's a reason. There's a reason. It's really important. Here's what he says. Return home and tell how much God has done for you. That word for home is a word that means your extended household. Go to your community. Go to your family. Go to your friends. Go to the people that work at the grocery store. Go to the people that you work with. Go to the people that you used to know or that you meet on the streets. Go to your community, the people you have influence over, and share with them how much God has done with you. Here's what Jesus is doing in this moment. He is putting his confidence in the man. In the demon-possessed, formerly demon-possessed, crazy lunatic that lived in the tombs that everybody was scared of, the most unpopular guy in town, he puts his confidence in. I want you to ask yourself, who would have been better at teaching people? Jesus or the formerly demon-possessed man? Probably Jesus. Who was more powerful? Jesus. Who did more miracles? Jesus. Who knew more about God? Jesus. Who was God? Jesus. Why is Jesus sending this guy in to do a task that Jesus would be better at? Because Jesus understood something about confidence. Because Jesus loved the man. And Jesus knew that love is confident in others. He knew that if he put his confidence in this man, that it would change this man's life. He knew that if he put his confidence in this man, that this man would experience things he never would have experienced. That this man would have great power, that it would change his future. When we place our confidence in others, it helps them become who God made them to be. Jesus knew something. If this man follows me, he will never become who God made him to be. And so instead, Jesus put his confidence in him. Like Michael Jordan put his confidence in Steve Kerr, a player that was not as good as him, but that he needed to do a particular mission. He put his confidence in Steve Kerr, and it made Steve Kerr the best that he could be. Jesus puts his confidence in this formerly demon-possessed man and says, you can do it. And as if to show his confidence, he doesn't say, hey, check back in with me in a month. Here's a list of rules, young man, that will help you do what I want you to do. You know what? I'm going to come check on you every week and make sure you're doing the right thing. You know what? Actually, let's go have a lunch together and let me talk to you for 4 hours about how to do this thing. Let me show you how to do a miracle. Let me teach you about some scriptures. No. He shows complete confidence in the man by telling him what to do, giving him a task, and leaving. As if to say, I trust in you. I'm confident in you. I know that you can do this. Your confidence in other people, your friends, your siblings, especially your younger siblings. I know you guys hate your younger siblings sometimes. Like, you're like, they're the worst people ever. They come in my room, they mess with my stuff, they ask me questions I don't want to answer, they embarrass me in front of my friends. I don't like them, I want to stay away from them. Man, I feel you. I know what it's like. Like, I know what it's like to be a kid and have siblings. Like, it's not necessarily the most fun thing, but guess what? You have so much influence over your younger siblings, over your younger cousins, over people that really anybody around you that is younger than you that you have influence over. You have so much power over them if you will just put confidence in them, if you will just believe in them, if you will just encourage them. To prove my point, I want you to think about something real quick. Everybody, look up at me and think about this. Think about the answer to this question. Who is someone who has put their confidence in you? Write it down if you're taking notes. Who is someone that's put their confidence in you? Maybe it's a parent, an extended family member, a grandparent, coach, boss, neighbor, a life group leader. By the way, guys, do you know your life group leaders, I know sometimes you don't think about this, they don't get paid. They show up year after year. They go to trips with you. They come on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights. They pray for you. They pay for you, pay for lunches and coffees and all kinds of stuff. They pay to go to your games, to watch substandard musicals at high schools and middle schools. Like, they do all these things. Why? Not because they have to, but because they love you, because they want to encourage you, because they want to show their confidence in you, because they want you to grow up, to follow after God, and to become who God made you to be. I want you to think, who is that person that has put their confidence in you? While you're thinking about that, I'll share with you some people that put their confidence in me. And I know I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it weren't for a few people that put their confidence in me along the way. I remember from a very young age, as a little boy, and I was just like any other little kid. I was annoying. I just said irritating things. I did irritating things. When it came to church stuff, I did not take it seriously. I just joked around. Like, I believed in Jesus. I memorized the Bible verses, but it just wasn't that big of a deal to me. And there were a lot of times where I was not very popular. I didn't have many friends. I didn't feel like I had much influence. I didn't really believe in myself. But always, I remember my mom telling me, Ryan, you're going to be a leader. Ryan, you're a leader. And I'd be like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like, whatever. But it stuck. She had confidence in me. She spoke that into me. And it grew and grew to be a confidence in myself that even when, I remember there were times in high school where I was like, man, it doesn't feel like it very much, but I know I'm a leader. I know I have influence because my mom told me. I remember when I was about to graduate from high school, a new student pastor came in. His name was Pastor Joby. He's pastor at 1122 now. And he had confidence in me. Here's the confidence he had in me. He let me go on mission trips and camps every single summer for free. I didn't have to pay. I didn't have to do anything. He just let me go. Why? Because he believed that I could be a good leader for students. And I wasn't always a good leader. I did things. I said things. I led kids in a bad direction sometimes when I was 18, 19, 20, 21. And yet, he had confidence in me. And something began to grow in me. A couple of years later, I graduated from college. The new student pastor at the time was Ryan Stone. He's also a pastor at 1122. He had confidence in me, and he gave me a life group of 10th grade boys. And he said, I trust that you can lead this group. I trust that you can do an amazing job with this group. And so I led that group over the coming years in 10th and 11th and 12th grade. And they were one of the most important parts of my life. And I learned how to lead, and I learned about ministry, and I grew in my love for students. I didn't intend to be a student pastor. I didn't intend to do what I'm doing right now, but that was a time that someone's confidence in me grew and grew and grew. Right as I was finishing up leading that life group, we had another student pastor. His name was Chris. And he had the confidence in me to hire me to work when I had never worked at a church, when I had never done ministry. And then furthermore, once I started working here, he was like, oh, by the way, I want you to preach. And I was like, I don't preach. I don't want to get in front of people. I'm not going to be good at it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm nervous. It makes my stomach hurt. I'm not going to do it. And he said, no, you're going to do it once a month. I don't know why he did that, but he had confidence in me. He had confidence in me to preach. So I got up here and I preached, and I wasn't that good. And it was awkward sometimes. And I'm sure some of the students were like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. But like, he had confidence in me. And it helped me grow. And then a couple years later, another person had confidence in me. Not that he hadn't had confidence in me before, because he's my dad, but my dad had confidence in me. And as many of y'all know, he's the senior pastor here, and he let me preach up on that stage on Sunday mornings for adults. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm just getting a little... I practice these sermons, and like it's just like whatever, I'm going through it, and then you start preaching, and then you start crying. So I didn't really think about it at the time. Like I thought it was an honor. Like I was like, oh, this is amazing. I get to preach in big church. Like, wow, like I can't believe I'm doing this. Like I never thought I would have done this. But he let me do it, and I think back, and I know he probably got emails. And if he didn't get the emails, I know people gossiped about it. And I know they're like, oh, cool, the pastor's kid. Oh, great, nepotism. He's letting his kid go up and preach. Like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to listen to this. He's not that good. It's awkward, like the awkward silences. Like, I'd rather just listen to someone who's a professional, someone who's good at this. Like why is the pastor letting his son get up there and preach? But he had confidence in me. He trusted me to do something that maybe I wasn't even good enough to do yet. But that's what confidence is all about. When you are confident in other people, it's not even necessarily about how good they are at something. It's about what you see in them. It's about what they could be one day. What you are doing in those moments, and I know y'all might think this is more for adults. No, it's for you too. You can have confidence in people and help them become who God made them to be. You can have confidence in people and help them be the best that they can be. And they may not even see it yet. Earlier this week, I spoke with a mentor friend of mine, and he was telling me some things that he sees in me and that he was confident in me about. And he said, Ryan, you are an amazing listener. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm a terrible listener. What are you saying? Well, here's what he was doing. He was speaking confidence into me. He was saying, I believe you can do this. I believe that you might not even be that good at it right now, but I can see it in you. There are some people that have spoken some words into you that have given you confidence. Let me just encourage you to thank them, because a lot of times they don't get thanked for it. So whoever that is, whether it's your parents, your life group leader, you could take out your phone right now and send them a text. Don't even listen to the rest of the sermon. Just send them a text, and I'd be happy with you taking action on this sermon. Whoever that person is, just send them a text. And not like, oh, thank you, but just like send them like a real text with a few sentences telling them why you're so thankful for them. Here's two ways before we're done. 2 ways that we can show confidence in others, because I want you to be able to do it and not just learn about it, but to be able to do it. Here's the first thing. Encourage people. You just speak words to them that lift them up, that make them feel better, that literally give them courage. You give them courage. All you got to do is say, hey, I see that you're great at this. Hey, you know that you have a lot of influence. You're a great leader. You're so funny. You're so smart. You really do well with kids, or you really do well at teaching, or you're really good at whatever. Just fill in the blank. Encourage people. Everybody can encourage somebody, and we all need it. Here's the second way we can show confidence in others. Give them opportunities to do something. Isn't that what Jesus does to the man? He gives him an opportunity to do something. He said, don't follow me. I want you to follow me, but not in the way that you're thinking. You're not going to get on the boat and come with me and my disciples. You're going to stay here, and you're going to follow me by doing something really important, by sharing the gospel with the people that you know, by sharing what God has done in your life with your home, with your community. And so we have the opportunity to do the same thing. And some of you may be like, well, it's not that obvious. I want you to think about it a little bit. It could be as simple, going back to the siblings, it could be as simple as asking your sibling to do something with you. That you would never, you're usually like, I don't feel like dealing with them, but you just ask them to come along and you ask them to help you out. Give others an opportunity to do something. Because if you think about it, in Matthew chapter 28, 16 through 20, Jesus gives this great commission. Actually, I'll start in 17. It says, when the people saw him, the people that were following him, he had 11 disciples and a few other followers. They worshiped him, but some doubted. So they're not even all really believing in him. But then Jesus came to them and he said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. Do you see what he does here? He talks to a few people that have no power, no money, no authority, really not any actual training besides just hanging out with him. They didn't go to university, they didn't go to college, they didn't go to some technical school. There's not many of them. They're living in a place that has really no care about the kingdom movement of Jesus. And he says, you guys are going to go do it. You guys are going to go share the gospel. You guys are going to make make this thing go out to the world. And from there, and here's the thing, no matter what you believe about Jesus, no matter whether you believe about the Bible or not, whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe he ever existed, here's one thing that no one can deny. That movement, 2,000 years later, still exists. That movement in 2,000 years didn't get smaller, didn't grow a little bit, but went from 11 disciples and about 100 other followers of Jesus to 2 billion people. That movement changed Western civilization. That movement changed education. That movement changed modern medicine. That movement changed science, changed culture, changed art, changed everything that the world has ever known. Let me pray for you guys. Heavenly Father, we thank you that you have confidence in us, that you trust in us, even when we don't really deserve it, even when we're not ready for it. You trust in us. You give confidence to us. That we can be confident in ourselves because Jesus is confident in us. Lord, each of us is like the demon-possessed man. We don't really deserve confidence. We don't really deserve trust. We don't seem very likely, and yet you do it anyway. Lord, I pray that each person in here would know that there is a God that is confident in them, that believes in them. And I pray that we would be people that don't wait till we're older to influence people, but that we start doing it right now. That we would have a bunch of students this week that go have one I see in you conversation with someone, where they encourage, where they give an opportunity to do something, where they build someone up. Because when we build people up, when we encourage people, when we trust in people, when we are confident in people, it brings out the best in them. It makes them who God made them to be. Lord, I pray that we will do that this week. And if we do that, we will change the world. We will change other people's futures. In your name I pray. Amen. Let's stand together and let's worship.
surrender. Show me what I don't know. More of you. 'Cause I'm desperate for your presence, longing to be with you. Lead me to a new place. More of you. It's now until forever. Jesus, I surrender. Show me what I don't know. More of you. I'm desperate for your presence, longing to be with you. Lead me to a new place. More of you. So lead me to you forever, Lord. I will pursue. Yes, I will pursue. You've won my heart, Jesus. You're all that I want, all that I want. Lead me to you. Forever, Lord, I will pursue. I will pursue you. You've won my heart, Jesus. You're all that I want, all that I want. Lead me to you. Forever, Lord, I will pursue. I will pursue you. You've won my heart, Jesus. You're all that I want, all that I All I need is you, and all I need is you, Lord, is you, Lord. All I need is you, and all I need is you, Lord, is you, Lord, and all I need is you. From beginning to the end, all is you. All I need is you, Lord, is you, Lord. All I need is you. No one else on this earth but you, God. And all I need is you, Lord, is you, Lord. All I need is you. Come on, if that's the cry of your heart, why don't you sing it out? And all I need is you, Lord, is you, Lord. All I need is you. All I need is you, Lord. Come on, all I need, and all I need is you. Yeah. And all I need is you, Lord. Is you, Lord. All I is you, Jesus. Lead me to you forever, Lord. I will pursue. I will pursue. And you've won my heart. And Jesus, you're all that I want. All that I want. Let's sing that again. Lead me to you forever, Lord. I will pursue. And I will pursue. We seek after you, God. You've won my heart. And Jesus, you're all that I want. All that I want. Come on, lead me to you forever, Lord. I will pursue. I will pursue. You won my heart, Jesus. You're all that I want. All that I want.
All right, y'all grab a seat real quick. Grab a seat. Hey, if it was your first time either online or in person, we want to encourage you, go to tiny.cc /unitedwelcome. Fill it out. If you're online, we will mail you a t-shirt for free this week. If you're in the room, just go back to the Connect right there where Jacob is, and he will give you a free shirt just for being here. We're so thankful that you guys came. Remember our action step. Our action step is to have one I see in you conversation this week. So do that this week. Think of somebody who you can encourage this week and show that you're confident in. We have a phone background to help you take action. We will send that out tomorrow and put that on Instagram so you guys can check that out, and make sure you put that on the background of your phones to remind you. And then our two winners, the two people that subscribed and did all the stuff and that we randomly selected, were Haley Phillips and Cole Benton. So you two get a free Love Is shirt. So just go back there and we'll get one of your selection for you. We love you guys so much. We have life groups this Wednesday, and we'll be back in here for another week of Love Is next Sunday. Love you guys. Bye.